Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to the Whiskey Cove. And on today's episode, we look at the whiskies and bourbons to be released in the month of July. Run the video. Alrighty there folks, thank you for joining us for what is and always is another new and exciting episode of the Whiskey Cove. And on today's installment, we'll be looking at the whiskies and bourbons to be released in the upcoming month of July. Can't believe it's July already. I feel like I say that about every month. The year is moving by at a phenomenally fast speed. It needs to slow down a little bit because I'm working too hard and I'm not quite able to enjoy it just as much there. However, we have some excellent bottles of whiskey for you folks at home to keep your eyes open, your eyes peeled when you're out and about, doing your whiskey hunting, doing your regular shopping. So definitely keep a lookout for these whiskies. And as always, go back and check last month's, maybe even the last one or the last one before that, because sometimes these whiskies get delayed just a little bit and they don't quite come out in the month that it's supposed to. So sometimes they can get delayed a little bit, backlog. Then let's delve headfirst into bottle number one. And we are going down to Kentucky because Maker's Mark are back with a new release. Very exciting news because I'm a big fan of Maker's Mark. Love just about everything that they put out. And they are bringing back the wood finishing series. So if you remember the last wood finishing bottle that was the BEP or EBP, kind of like the license plate series, they went from the RC19, so 2019 up to like 2023, 24 was the last bottle. So they're bringing it back for 5 more installments. So this is going to be the wood finishing series, Maker's Mark, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey Barrel, finished with 10 virgin oak staves. So they're like a play around with the oak staves. And that's how they create different and tastes, because Maker's Mark is always the same mash bill, unless there's something out there that I'm not aware about. They always have the same mash bill, always have the same whiskey. They just finish it in different staves to give it a different and unique taste. So that mash bill is going to be 70% corn and 16% soft winter wheat. That's kind of quite unique for them. And then 14% malted barley. So like I said, there's going to be 5 releases of this throughout the next couple of years, I assume. This is going to be bottle number 1. This is going to be coming in at 56.3% ABV or 112.6 proof. That's actually quite high for Maker's Mark, 56. They generally said 53, 54, 55. Not many times you'll see it at 56. This is a blend of toasted American and French oak staves, if you're wondering. This is bottled, it says February 2024. I've only just now started seeing them being released and hearing about them. So I don't know if they had like a short release at the distillery there in Kentucky and now they're going national with it, but they said February 2024. There's going to be a bunch of these bottles being released, and the MSRP on this is going to be $74.99. Don't go out there rushing and paying over the odds for this bottle, because you'll see it. It'll start slowing down, the initial rush will start simmering down a little bit, and then you'll be able to pick it up for MSRP. I don't like the fact that it's $75. I feel like that price has come up a little bit, but still pretty decent value for money. You know what you get with Maker's Mark. You get a very consistent whiskey, a quite incredible tasting whiskey. And something that's, if you're a big wheated bourbon fan, you're going to really enjoy. My favorite one from the last one was a BRT02. I'm definitely going to pick this one up. I'm not going to go out there rushing looking for it, but I'm going to just wait for it fall in my lap like every other one before this one. This is going to be called the Heart release. That's going to be the name of this one. They've stepped away from the license plates and they're actually giving them names now. So we appreciate that. Thank you, Maker's Mark. So then, moving on from Maker's Mark, and we are going to Remus Bourbon, which is MGP, is in-house brand, if you like. And they are proud to announce an official partnership with the estate of Babe Ruth that has accumulated in the release of Babe Ruth Reserve, or Remus Babe Ruth Reserve. This is going to be a blend of 3 high rye bourbons, aged for 6 to 7 years, and then it's going to come in at 55.5% ABV, or 111 proof. So there's going to be a limited supply. If you can call 10,624 a limited supply, then it is a limited supply, but that's a decent amount of balls if you ask me. And that's going to be 1 for each of Babe Ruth's plate appearances. They will arrive at retail stores this July, so again, keep your eyes open for that, with a suggested retail price of $149.99. So the Remus generally sits quite high in price, around the $100 mark, and something like the Remus Gatsby and the repeals, and they can get quite pricey, is what I'm saying. a blend of 6 to 7 year MGP rye for $150 bottles. Basically, this is a collector. This is a collector's item, I say. It's like it's a sports memorabilia card. It's not worth the paper that it's printed on, you know. It's not worth like $5 for it to kind of be put together. You buy it because the brand, and you buy it because it might become a collector's thing. And that's exactly what I feel like with this bottle there. Also, as well, which is pretty cool about this bottle, is that they're gonna put a QR code on the back that allows people to scan it and find out what Roof did in that specific bottle plate appearances. So he made 10,624 appearances, and then obviously the bottles are going to be numbered, so you can be able to scan that bottle, and then it'll tell you what he did in that specific game that's correlated to the bottle. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. It makes every bottle unique as well. This goes on to then say, to honor Babe's Roof's 3, the number 3 remix. That's why they put together the 3 high rye bourbons, which are from specific barrels in 2016, 17, and 18, consisting of a 49% rye, 44% rye, and then 36% rye bourbons, respectively. You know, it is a lot of money, $150. However, you know, like I said, I think every bottle is unique with the QR code. If you're a baseball fan, this could be for you as well. I'm not gonna go out and get it, but it is a cool bottle for those out there who will love it, that's for sure. Kind of staying with MGP a little bit, if you like. Penelope are back with another one of their core releases for another year. That is because Penelope Cask Finish Rosé, the Rosé Cask Finish series is back, which is going to be their batch 8, if you can believe that. They're already on batch 8. This is going to be now, it says at a limited allocation, but I think I see this quite consistently in here in Colorado anyway. So the Rosé Cask Finish marries Penelope's signature, the signature 4-grain straight bourbon whiskey with rosé wine casks from France. So I'm not a big fan of rosé wine in general, and that's kind of where this whiskey's never really appealed to me. Like, I can get behind the rosé, is it the orange one? I can get behind that. I can get behind the Architect, but for whatever reason, I've never been a rosé rosé wine fan. However, you folks at home who kind of like the wine finishes and maybe more the rosé, this is going to be coming in at $49.99. So probably what's going to be a somewhat findable Penelope bottle for $49.99, which is cask finished as well. That's not bad value for money. This is going to be bottled at 94 proof, so it's going to be on the lower side. So for, what is that, 47% ABV. So definitely on the lower side of things. But you don't want it to be too high proof because it'll probably pull away from the rosé, which is a little bit of a delicate note. This is going to be with a mash bill of 74% corn, 16% wheat, 7% rye, and then 3% malted barley. So like I said, you know, for 50 bucks for finished whiskey, yes, it's on a little bit of a lower proof. I think if you really do like the wine finish in whiskeys, like stuff like High West put out, and like Doc Swinson's and stuff, I think it's definitely a stab in the dark if you can find that. So we are going back to Kentucky, and that is because Heaven Hill are coming out with a threesome of whiskies that we'll do all together here. And it's going to be called the Grain de Glace whiskies. What does that mean, this Grain de Glace? So they're basically saying they had a hand in all of everything to do with this whiskey. Everything from the grain that they were able to harvest, all the way to what will end up in your glass there. So the craft nature of this unique line of whiskeys starts at the very beginning, the seed. The idea for the line began over 8 years ago as the brainchild of Heaven Hill's executive chairman, Max Shapiro. Max's passion for quality and transparency in whiskey led to a partnership with a seed company, Beck's Hybrids, a fellow family-owned and led operation based in Indiana since 1937. Each year, our master distiller works with Beck's Hybrids to hand-select the unique corn seed variant that has specific attributes desirable for Heaven Hill. So the chosen corn seed variety is then grown by Peterson Farms at one of 2 sites in the Nelson County, one of which is directly across the street from Heaven Hill's Bardstown facility, if you know where that is. Peterson's Farm, a multi-generational family farming company, has been entrusted to take the corn seed and then cultivate into a healthy grain that goes into Heaven Hill grain to glass mash bills. So the 3 different whiskies that they'll be coming out with, one will be a bourbon whiskey, one will be a wheated bourbon, and then the last one will be a rye expression. So the traditional bourbon mash bill and the wheated bourbon mash bill will be bottled at 107 proof. And then the Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey Expression is comprised of 52% corn, 35% rye, and then 13% malted barley. And then bottled at 121 proof, so we're getting up there, 60% ABV, 60.5% ABV, is going to be the Kentucky Straight Wheated Bourbon. And that expression is going to be 52% corn, 35% rye, and then 13% malted barley. And then lastly, and the highest ABV or proof of them all, is going to be the Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey Expression. And that is going to be 123% or 123 ABV, excuse me, or what is that, 61.6% ABV, and the only barrel proof expression of the whole series. So they're getting whatever the whiskey comes out of the barrel, they're not proofing it down, that is what the ABV is going to be. And this is going to be consistent of 63% rye, 24% corn, and then 13% malted barley. The distillate has been aged over 6 years at Heaven Hills Cox's Creek House Rick site. Each product is then non-chill filtered and bottled at an ideal proof to allow the characteristics of each unique mash bill to shine. So a really unique kind of way of doing things. They wanted to get a hand in every bit of the process. I think they might have already started being released at the distillery there in Kentucky. They release a lot of the specialty bottles at their distillery. People line up for hours and days on end to be able to get a shot of one of these whiskeys. I'm not sure if this is going to be a limited run or something they're going to be doing every year. I wasn't able to find too much information on this because it is still relatively new, but I wanted to include it in today's episode because I am seeing the bottles come up online. So I definitely wanted to put it on your folks' radar. A little bit to get through there, but maybe this will probably be like more like a lottery bottle that you might see at the end of the year. So the 3 different expressions, they all sound pretty fun and unique. I think they did something like this with, I want to say maybe Evan Williams. I think they had like their own distillery kind of grain to glass whiskey that you can get at the Evan Williams Experience. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was like maybe like the 86 series, or there's like a number associated with it. Well, that one wasn't so good, if I'm completely honest. So we'll see, if we get a chance to try this, we might be that fortunate there. So then moving on, we are going to Buffalo Trace, and that's because they are back with an absolute hitter, and that is going to be the Buffalo Trace Colonel E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof Rye Whiskey. So I want to say that we did a video on this, about this specific bottle last year, and I don't even know if it ended up dropping. I thought they were just doing like a limited run of this, like around Christmas, kind of like a warehouse-y type run, tornado style, like a very small limited run. But it looks like this is going to be a consistent kind of like the regular E.H. Taylor barrel proof, right? The barrel proof bourbon. They just added another bottle that we can't find. So this is aged at Buffalo Trace's distillery. This limited edition release is bottled at 126 proof and crafted with the highest standards of quality and first introduced in the industry by the namesake there. So 126 proof, what is that, 68%? Is that, no, my math was off, then 63% ABV. This is going to be Buffalo Trace's rye mash bill. They don't disclose their mash bills. You can go online and maybe look at a couple of different sources who claim to know what they are, but they are all a little bit different. So we don't know the exact we don't know the exact mash bill on that, but it's Buffalo Trace's rye mash bill. And of course, go out and buy it because it's only going to cost you $77.99. Wow, what are you waiting for? Go to the shop and buy it, of course. This is Buffalo Trace whiskey. It is a limited Buffalo Trace whiskey. It'll be very, very difficult to find. The E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof Bourbon is so hard for me to find that I've been drinking whiskey for a long time, but I've been really honing in on collecting whiskey for about 8 to 10 years, and I haven't been able to get a bottle of the barrel proof bourbon. So I doubt I'll be able to get this one, but if you can find it, and if people aren't marking it up, then you're gonna pay like 80 bucks for it, which is excellent value for money for a cask strength rye E.H. Taylor. Come on, who's gonna pass that up? And then moving on to the last one, and that is going to be Angel's Envy's newest release, and they are back, and this is a really unique and interesting bottle. They are back, and I'm not making a mistake when I say this, with their cask strength bottled in bond bourbon. So one thing that it needs to be bottled in bond bourbon is a certain ABV and proof. And what is that? Yep, you got it right. 50% ABV or 100 proof. But it said cask strength. Cask strength 150. So they put this whiskey into the barrel at a much lower ABV. Distilleries will generally put it in quite high because they can get more volume from that when they proof it down. Think of, we have something called in the UK called squash, but like some sort of like lime juice, I guess. You put more concentrate into something, you can dilute it out more with water. You can get a bigger volume of liquid and then you can sell it or make more money. But with these, they kind of did the approach like Michter's did. Michter's put their whiskey or put the distillate into the whiskey barrel at a lower proof. And that's what they did here. And I guess that they proofed it down then to 50% ABV or 100 proof because it doesn't say barrel strength, it says cask strength. And it marks our foray in, and it's going to say that it marks their first foray into the world of unfinished whiskey. So traditionally, Angel's Envy is finished in port casks, and they've done a bunch of other projects as well. But this is the first one that they're going to release that isn't finished on everything. This is just unfinished whiskey. This is as pure as Angel's Envy as you can get. This is only going to be released in 375 milliliter bottles, and it is going to be $55. So $55 for a stumpy bottle. It's not terrible value for money, but then if you think about it, it's like $110 for a bottle of bottled in bond bourbon. That's quite expensive. Yeah, bottled in bond bourbon, which is aged for nearly 6 years, so aged for 5 years, for $110. I don't, this is one of the things that I'm not the biggest fan of Angel's Envy on. Like they do, like the regular Angel's Envy, what is like $50, $60? I get that, finished on port. It's a good whiskey in its own right. But then they do single barrels of that and the price is doubled. It's like $110, $100 for a single barrel, but it's like the same stuff and a little higher proof. And then you do this 50% ABV, 100 proof bottled in bond bourbon, which like, if you think of like Henry McKenna, $50, $60, early times, like $25, $30. Evan Williams bottled in bond 100 proof. Yes, I know they're not the kind of like the same level of branding, but it's still a bottled in bond aged 5-year bourbon for $110. It's a little bit high for me. I probably won't get it. I don't believe, I wasn't able to find the mash bill on this, but I don't believe that they changed their mash bill around too much for the whiskeys. So the regular Angel's Envy mash bill is 72% corn, 18% rye, and 10% malted barley. 72% corn is going to make it a little bit more sweeter, which is what I probably expect from this bottled in bond. It says nose lightly, sugars, vanilla, wafers, banana pudding, palate, sweet balance, honey light, fruit syrup, and honey latte. So a lot of sweet notes as I kind of expected that you're going to get with this. But again, it's hard for me. $110 for a 5-year bottled in bond bourbon. I'm looking around, yeah, like a 1792 classic bottled in bond bourbon has really good branding, maybe something that you could probably associate with Angel's Envy. They're both looking quite fancy bottles. This is like $40, $50 bottle. I just feel like you can't quite justify that price tag. But hey, maybe it's absolutely fantastic and I know nothing. So if you've loved today's video, definitely smash that like button. We really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a lot. And definitely comment out below if you feel like there's whiskey that I've missed. Or you folks at home, have a fantastic July 4th. Take some time, spend it with your family, get that barbecue fired up, get the whiskey out. Hey, just have a good time, be healthy, enjoy the company of yourself and enjoy the company of your family and your friends. As we drink through the world's whiskeys, one glass at a time, thank you for watching. Cheers.